Welcome to Blake's Banter About Podcasts. This is a session in Pro Tools that'll get you up and running doing podcasts and basic voice recordings. One of the cool things about it, it's going to actually turn the music down while people are speaking automatically, so it might save you some time in editing. You probably want some sort of audio interface to plug your microphones into that then plugs into the computer. I'm not going to give you a tutorial about audio interfaces because the manufacturer should already have that handled. After you open up Pro Tools, you'll go to Track, New, Mono, and Audio Track to create a new track. I've already done that on this track here, Mic 1. You'll need to assign the microphone that you're plugged into on your audio interface to 1. So if I go to 2, I'm not on that, and my microphone will disappear. Bye. So now I'm back. The next thing we're going to do is create an aux. Some people call it a bus to send this signal to. I'll explain why we're going to do this later. To do this, you go to Track, New. We'll make it stereo for this example. Stereo, Auxiliary, and Create. And now we'll name it Dialogue Aux. We're now going to tell this Dialogue Aux where to receive signal from. So we'll go to No Input, select Bus 1 and 2. Then we'll take the microphone input and we'll assign that to Bus 1 and 2. So the output is going to the input of the Dialogue Aux. This is always the input, this is always the output. The next thing I'll do is create an equalizer for this track. I like the 7-band. It may look complicated if you're new to Pro Tools or new to audio, but think of it this way. This is the high end, this is the treble. You'll hear my voice getting more trebly. And this is the low end. Make me big and boomy like a radio, or less, real thin like I'm on the phone. And here you have the mid-range. Makes me real tin canny maybe in the middle. Most podcasts have more than one person talking, so there's a fun little way we can quickly create tracks without having to redo all this routing of buses. You can go Mic 1, right-click on it, and say Duplicate. Let's say we're going to have 4 people in the show, so I'll create 3 more tracks. Then rename them. To rename them, you just double-click on the track. You'll notice that the bus routing all went to the bus. So all these microphones now have their own separate little EQs, equalizers, and they're all routed to this dialogue bus, which we're now going to put compression on. To do that, you put multi-channel plugin, dynamics, and then we'll use the simple Dyne 3 compressor limiter. What this does is it will take all these microphones and effectively, well, not mix them, but keep them all in line. If somebody yells, you can see if I get very loud, it's turning me down. This red knot, this light here is telling me how much it's turning me down. Some of the other tools in here, like release and ratio, are very effective, and you need to know how to use them. I recommend Googling how to use a compressor, and they'll give you lots of tutorials on that. And you'll learn a little bit when we make this Sidechain. Most podcasts have music on them, so we're going to set up some music tracks. To do that, we'll set up New, and we're going to have 2 tracks, a show open track and a show closed track. You don't need to do that, but for this example, it will be we're going to be using a bus, and it will help you understand what sidechaining does, and maybe help you understand auxiliaries more. So stereo, audio track, we got 2, create, and we'll say this is show open, show close. Now we have music. But I want to do the same thing again. I want to have the music all go to an auxiliary. So I'm going to create an auxiliary by changing stereo, 1 stereo, auxiliary, and I'll call that music aux. And this is where it gets interesting. So I have to do the same thing again. I have to go, but this time I'm going to choose a different bus. Bus 3 and 4 for the input is what I'm going to choose on this music. Aux. Then I'm going to assign the music tracks to that bus as well. Now I'm going to go to my Finder and find the music tracks that I want. So here's the tracks. I'm just going to scoot this one out since this is the show close. It will be out here. Now you can see the WAV file has showed up. I'm going to turn it down just a hair, and I'll play it. Very good, it plays. So now what I want to have happen is, I want to have when I speak, or when the talent speaks, the music will automatically turn down somewhat. So to do that, we're going to go to Music Aux. We're going to go to Dynamics, and then we're going to use their channel strip. What we're going to do with the channel strip is now, we're going to assign this key to the bus 1. So bus 1 is where this key is. That correlates to this bus 1 and 2 right here. Next, we want to go to Sidechain, and we want to tell the source to be the key. And now you can see as I speak, in this compressor, in this channel strip, you can see this little ball going, this meter going up and down. It'll make sense what that is in just a second. Last thing we have to do is set our compressor limiter ratio. You can see that's how much the music's going to be turned down. The threshold, as I turn that back, is where it starts to turn it down. And then the last knob that you probably want to know is the release. That's how fast the music will turn back up. So if I put it slow, you'll see this line going back up. It will make more sense when the music's playing and we're recording. So take a listen. So now I'm talking, and the music's pretty loud when I'm talking. So first I'll turn the music down a hair. I'll set the release back a little bit, and then make it a little steeper. Now when I talk, you can hear the music going down. Perhaps we want it even more. Notice I'm not turning down the music. It's just turning itself down. Now this has a radio feel right now, especially if I turn the release back. Testing 1 2, testing 1 2. Maybe I don't want it that loud. So I'll turn the release. So I'll turn the release to here, and you can see I got a drastic. It's turning down the music 18 dB, and then it's going to hold it for 490 milliseconds before it starts turning back up. And that is how you sidechain or make the music automatically duck. The last thing you may want to know is to do a master, is have a master fader. The master fader is great. You saw how I just did it. Track, stereo, master fader. And now what I have is a meter of the whole mix of how loud it is. In this view, it's not very good. You can't really get a good indication of how loud it is. To see a better view, you go to Window and go to Mix. And now you have a very good, see if I can turn this here and I disappear. If I turn it back up, I get it very loud. That's the overall mix of how loud it will be on the recording. For more podcasting tips and free resources like audio templates, sessions, and video, go to humanfactor.net.